Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public Meetings Act, statement, please.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board and township website on January 4th, 2024.
Roll call.
Mr. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Here. We'll start with Resolution 3424, appointing Scott Krauss to the position of Corporal in the Franklin Township Police Department.
Motion R34-24. Second.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes.
Scott, you want to come up with your family? All right, I want to welcome everyone tonight for a very special occasion. Officer Krauss's promotion to Corporal. I have a short biography on Scott. Scott is a lifelong resident of Franklin Township and 2011 graduate of Delsea Regional High School. Scott continued his education at Stockton University and graduated in 2015 with a bachelor's degree in forensic psychology. After graduating college, Scott was hired by the Stone Harbor Police Department in May of 2015. After completing the summer, Scott was hired by the Franklin Township Police Department in October of 2015 as a SLEO 2 officer and then hired full-time in October of 2016. Scott is also a member of the Malaga Volunteer Fire Company, where he currently holds the rank of battalion chief and diver. During his time with the police department, Scott has assisted in many investigations and community events such as National Night Out, Police Youth Week, and one of the most rewarding events, Holiday with a Hero. Scott was also awarded with the 2023 Matthew McCluskey Compassion Award. In his free time, Scott enjoys spending time with his wife Maria and their two children, Carter and Jackson. All right. Carter, Jackson.
I state your name.
I, Scott Krauss,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of corporal
all the duties of corporal
in the Franklin Township Police Department
of the Franklin Township Police
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith
and I will bear true
and
faith
allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
We're going to put a pause on for 5 or 10 minutes. Matt, come on, Bart.
Yes.
Can I get a motion? Now, you know what, Matt? Come on up for your report. Sure. He has to go somewhere.
All right, Mayor and Council, I prepared a report tonight. I'm sure everyone got it, but I sent out my year-end report for your review. It's also online for everyone to review, just to give the public a little idea of what we handled as far as calls for service in 2023. We handled 53,412 calls for service, 806 motor vehicle crashes, which was a 1% decrease from 2022, 5 fatal motor vehicle crashes. We conducted 21,078 motor vehicle stops, which was a 34% increase from the year before. And we wrote 16,726 tickets, which was a 49% increase from the year before. With that being said, we increased our DWI arrests by 32%, which was 76 arrests. And we made 1,016 overall arrests, which was a 29% increase from 2022. Our data as far as crime statistics go, overall crime reported to the Uniform Crime Report, we actually reduced crime within the township by 7%. So that's huge, and that really focuses on our mission of high visibility and really being out there in the public and being visible. One other thing that I do want to report on, we did have a high increase in crashes at Main Road and Weymouth Road. I know we've had some residents come in and complain about that intersection. We spoke to the county engineer, and we were actually able to get rumble strips on Weymouth Road on both directions leading up to Main. And I spoke to the county engineer last week, and it looks pretty promising that we're going to be making that intersection a four-way stop. Yeah. So that'll actually be huge if we can make that a four-way stop. That'll cut down on accidents drastically out there on Main Road. And that's all I have, Mayor. All right, any questions?
Can you stick around for another hour? I got to talk to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Good to go.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinances as well?
Motion to open public portion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. Just the first ones are just a couple of questions in reference to Resolution 3824 and 3924. Only because I didn't see them anywhere, and it could be I just was looking in the wrong places. Where were those job postings posted at, or where do they normally get posted at?
Facebook and the website.
Okay. We don't do anything with any local papers, anything that way, or Indeed? No, I'm just curious, just to see, to reach out for other areas.
Same thing always.
Okay.
Website and on Facebook. And it Indeed picks it up off our website sometimes.
Okay, and Facebook is through the Township Facebook page.
Correct.
It doesn't get put through any other affiliated ones, that have Franklin Township name in them.
Well, if anybody picks them up.
Yeah, and then they can share them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any chance that could go out, like, how we have the notifications, that you sign up for? Any way it could go out to the people that are for notifications? Because that way then it could be easier to share.
I can ask the website lady. I mean, I assume when she puts something up like that with the RFPs, it goes out as a notification. So
Okay.
I'll check with her.
Yeah, just see, I don't know how hard it is, but it may help spread that word a little bit to get some different people. And then I just have, and this again, maybe because of my ignorance of not being involved in that side, but and this is not to pick on any one individual. I just have some question in reference to where our salaries are for certain positions as opposed to other towns. Some of them are almost 100% higher for the same comparable position through other towns. And again, it's not to pick on anybody, and I know it's going to come out that way, but it's not meant that way. But one, of course, Mr. Finley, and I apologize, is not picking on you as the administrator position. Is there, and I'm not saying it's not justified, I'm just looking for some clarification on why we're at that rate, for the taxpayer standpoint.
Why would I get that rate?
I mean, and I'm just like, we're almost 40% higher than Vineland with 61,000 residents for the same position, for that same exact title. So I'm just wondering, and this, now Clayton, we're more than 100% what there is. Now, they're a smaller town, but they have more.
I actually believe Mr. Dickinson makes about $50,000 more than I do.
Okay, well, they post a lot less than that then. At least what they have on their website is a fraction of ours.
I used to work there. I can tell you, he's probably closer to 200,000 than I am.
Then that's something I'm sure their residents will have to take up with them, because I'm just going by what they just posted on their website, through their township meeting, just as ours just did for this one, and it's a fraction. So I'm just, how do we get to these points? How do we come up with that figure?
We're just basically adding 2% to these rates.
To what they've been,
Cover any increase.
right, over the years.
Maybe a little bit more than 2%.
Okay.
Just so they're within that range.
Okay. Just curious, and it goes down through different spots. That's that one. And again, we have some of the clerk positions are a lot higher, and even salaries of our committee are a lot higher here than surrounding towns. And I know they're nothing; they're not high, but most of them are double what they are in other towns. But I'm just
They're in that range.
so I just like to, like I said,
They must be working for
they may be. But from somebody that's managed a lot of business, we always have ways of checks and balances where we come up with it and return on investments, and I'm just curious where the numbers come from.
I don't know how long that salary is.
Right, and it's been that way for years from what I've seen. Most of them, they're very slight, for the committee positions. But was just looking for some clarification because it gets voted on. I just want to know if you knew where it came from.
The top ends of this year, based on all the CBAs that we have that all run through 25, the top end of anybody covered by a collective bargaining agreement are on the top end of that right now.
Right.
So DPW, all the clerical workers, all of them the top end salary is where some of the senior people,
Yeah, because they've been here so long, right?
where they'll be.
Right, and I understand. I mean, you're gonna,
Next year's salary will be very minimal adjustments, because I tried to adjust this year because of the way this meeting ends. We've already started paying them as of January 1st, so.
right. And everybody deserves a fair and decent wage. I'm not trying to take away from that. I just want to make sure we're being fiscally responsible for the residents. Thank you.
Need a motion to close.
Motion to close. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes from December 26, 2023 and January 1st of 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the bill list.
Motion to approve bills. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Need a motion to approve the raffle license for 2024.
Motion.
It's the annual food handling and automatic amusement.
Motion to approve those licenses. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Resolution 3524, authorizing the Township of Franklin Administrator to enter into a memorandum of agreement and addendum to the collective bargaining agreement PBA 122.
Motion for R3524. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 3624, authorizing soliciting of bid proposals for Green Acres Development Project 0805-17-046, commonly known as Piney Hollow Evaluation Trail Improvements.
Motion for R3624. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Need a motion for resolution 3724, authorizing the mayor to sign the Gloucester, Salem, Cumberland County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Safety Contract.
Motion for R3724. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Resolution 3824, appointing Eugene Sherban to housing inspector for Franklin Township.
Motion R3824. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. This is the lead inspector thing, the new state thing, right?
Yeah, he starts training with the DCA on Thursday.
That's required by the state, right?
Yes, sir, as of January 1st.
Last one, resolution 3924, appointing Angela Kanos as administrative assistant in township administrative offices.
Motion R3924. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to introduce ordinance 0124, establishing the salaries and wages of municipal officials and employees of the Township of Franklin, County of Gloucester, and the State of New Jersey? Motion that hearing will be on February 13, 2024.
Motion for 01-24. Second.
Mr. Fiorello?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the second public portion? Any comments?
Motion to open public portion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Barbara Halpern, Hardwick Highway. Thank you for moving on the grant project for Piney Hollow Preservation Area. Do we have any timetable on when we're going to start advertising for those bids?
Now this is done, I'll talk to CMA, we'll get it out so we can have the bids probably in the end of February, beginning of March.
Okay. So you've done some cost cutting. You were talking about making the boardwalk less expensive than what was
So-
designed?
So in talking to CMA, we also talked to Green Acres. They want us to put the project out and, specify that we want, broken down. And once we get the bids in, if we're overbid, we can break it into phases, and we can also add in the things that Brian and DPW believes we can do, or like the Eagle Scout to build some of the benches and stuff like that. So we're putting it out as it's been drawn, see where the bids come in, and then we can alter it and make it a multi-phase project or whatever.
Great.
Spend everything we have, but As it is, we're putting out soup to nuts right now as drawn.
Okay, including the cleanup, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all-
We're going to do some in-house cleanup, or we're going to?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it makes the most sense.
Well, that's great. Talking about the Eagle Scout project, I was wondering if the Eagle Scouts would be willing to share actual plans for the benches that they made, like the ones in Malaga, because I'm sure there's a lot of talented woodworkers in town that might volunteer to make benches, as well as having the Eagle Scouts make some.
Well, we can talk. I mean, that young gentleman that was here, I believe, his mom said she'd try to be coming back to me sometime in 2024 early, because he had to get approval from us for the project. Then it had to go before his council. Then he actually has to start fundraising and getting the whole plan in place. And then he'll come back to us with what he's going to produce and put out there. So as soon as he does, I'll get a copy and I'll forward it on to you and the Environmental Commission and everybody in Piney Hollows so we can look at it.
Yeah, because we may be able to get the public to participate, not just in bench making. If there was a plan, that would be something easy. People could do at home and then bring the bench to Public Works or wherever, to have it installed wherever you tell them to. There may be other projects that people would volunteer to help with, as long as it's within the insurance and ability of the township to accept that help.
If we did something like that, we could just get a one-day rider or something like that. So
Yeah, things like maybe the kiosk, I guess it's called, or whatever that.
the welcome area,
The structure with maps or whatever, or relevant information. You might get some help with that as well.
Process too, stuff to pull permits in the township and all that.
Yeah, and I know there are some people that would also help with the signage. There's going to be interpretive signage, and I think Joe Arsenault wanted to help with that. So yeah, there's a lot of public people that will help reduce your costs and they'd love to help. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Nancy Kennedy, 711 St. George Street. I did not have the opportunity to attend the first meeting this year, so I did have a chance during our snowy weather to review the boards and the appointments that were made to the various boards. So, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to ask, who made the decision about who would serve on the various boards? I'm sorry? You all did. How did you do that? In a meeting or? Individually, you talked to everyone and you went over each person who was going to be appointed to the boards?
Probably not Mark. Probably rest of them.
Okay, well, I'm going to take a little bit of my time to tell you all a story. And it's a story that really does not reflect badly on Mr. Keene, Mr. Fiorella, or Mr. Marsh, at least the beginning of the story, because they were nowhere near Township Committee when it began. I have a very good friend. He's not politically active. He has farmed for most of his life. His family has farmed for most of their lives. He's a great guy. One of the nicest, least controversial people you'll ever meet. I would be shocked if he ever came to a meeting. He was on the agricultural board. When Mr. Doyle took a seat on Township Committee, he was removed from the agricultural board. My belief is because he had the temerity not to support Mr. Doyle in his bid to be chair of the Agricultural Committee. In his place, Michelle Doyle was appointed to the board. Now, I didn't really raise a fuss, even though you would think, well, gee, that seems a little weird. The guy's on Township Committee and his wife was put on. Guess what? From everything I've heard, Michelle Doyle is a really smart, good person. Don't know her. I've never met her. I've never had a conversation with the woman. But, why not? Why shouldn't she be on the board, right? Well, that's a heck of a question, gentlemen. Why shouldn't she be on the board? Because this year, the four of you took her off. Now, there's one key difference I can see between when she was appointed before and now. Because she's still the same Michelle Doyle, still the same bright, class act, smart person. Heck, Tim told us all the businesses that we've all heard are so amazingly successful, and I believe that, are Michelle's businesses, which means she does a bang-up job. She knows a lot about farming, she knows a lot about landscaping, and there is no reason why when Jake talked to each of you individually, somebody shouldn't have said, hey, why are we taking a woman off the Agricultural Committee, who my source tells me was the chair, and replacing her with a man and leaving an open spot. There's an alternate spot that was left open. No, I'm no rocket scientist. Could barely pass high school math. But I'll tell you what, the big difference I see is that when Tim was sworn in the last time, the real pretty classy lady holding that Bible was Michelle Doyle. And when he was sworn in this time, boy, it wasn't. So one of the few people, in fact, I'd say one of the only people who was removed against their will, against their wishes, I'm guessing, from a board, is the person who's no longer going to be married to Tim. And if you wonder why myself, my mother, my father, my best friend, my law partner, the marshals and others continue to come to these meetings, it's because of how that looks. It's because of how that feels. To be a resident of this township, to have people sitting in power, using that power, not to take care of the residents, not to lower the taxes, because God knows you haven't managed to do that, and I know that doesn't apply to all of you, but to instead target the soon-to-be ex-wife of a sitting township committeeman.
I'm not going to talk about Mr. Doyle or Mrs. Doyle's personal.
That's great. I didn't ask you a thing, Jake. All I said was...
You probably shouldn't be talking about other people's marriages.
Well, you know what, Jake? It's pretty clear from who swore him in that they're no longer together, and it's pretty clear that you took her off. Well, you just said you all made the decision. So there was an alternate position open, you left it open, and you removed her. She's qualified, good person, still lives in the town, and she was targeted. Now, maybe Michelle will reach out to me. Maybe she'll say, hey, lady, leave me out of these meetings. And if that's the case, I apologize. But you know what? As a woman, as somebody who lives in this town, as somebody who pays taxes, and somebody who trusts all of you not to do the bidding of somebody who is, quite frankly, if this is accurate, disgusting. Watch what he does, gentlemen, because most of you are great people who should not be tarred with the brush of that individual. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, Harry Kennedy, 1578 Fry's Mill Road. Good evening. First thing, Happy New Year. Best of luck this year. I hope you all have a great year and do the right thing for the township, and I trust that the majority of you will. I certainly have that hope. And I just wanted to say that Dave Marshall, I want you to know that I disagree with you. I absolutely disagree with you. $4,000 is a pittance to sit up there on that township committee, and $6,000 is a pittance to sit up there as the mayor. I know, $4,000 for the committee. Maybe next year you'll get the raise to $6, Mike, but four for the township committee, $6 for the mayor. You guys, it's enough work to certainly justify that. It's a job that requires a thick skin and the ability to discern what's right. I just have, as we get up here in the following weeks, once in a while I'm going to talk about demographics because it excites me. And the great thing about Franklin Township is that a Democrat is likely to be elected in Franklin Township, I'm sorry to say, or happy to say, since I voted a straight Republican ticket with the exception of one person. But they're as likely to be elected in Franklin Township as a Republican is to be elected in Camden. That's just the way things are nowadays. Things have changed. As Mike is very well aware, it used to be a very competitive town. It's not anymore. The fights will be fought in Republican primaries as we go on. But the point that I wanted to make is one that even the safest politician in the history of the world, like Bob Menendez, no Republican senator in New Jersey has been elected since 1972. Bob Menendez is about to lose his very safe Democrat United States Senate seat because of his greed. And greed is something that all of us should avoid, and I believe the vast majority of you up there do avoid it. And I'm just going to give one word tonight, and that's the difference between rationalization and reason. Rationalization, reason. Last year, you guys had a reorganization meeting. I went back and listened. I know, I'm old and I have lots of time. I went back and listened to the tape of the meeting after the reorganization meeting. And there was a complaint about replacing Heather Flame with Tim Doyle on the planning board. And the rationalization was given, it was very clear rationalization, was given by Mr. Doyle. He said, well, Heather's got the deputy mayor's job. Shouldn't really have the deputy mayor's job and the planning board job. That was last year. This is this year. Let's keep our rationalizations, and our reasons. Let's do the best we can for all of Franklin Township. And the thing I wanted to say, Nancy, is that I have lots of time to read the paper. And I am a subscriber to the Sentinel and have been for 40 or 50 years. And I remember reading a wonderful article in the Sentinel. There was an award given to the Farmer of the Year in South Jersey, to the best farmer in all of South Jersey, from the Department of Agriculture in the state of New Jersey. Guess who that award went to, Jake? I'll bet you get it on the first guess. Thank you. Michelle Doyle. Yeah, Michelle.
Good evening, gentlemen. Chris Sayers, 184 Malaga Lake Boulevard. I wasn't here for the reorganization meeting, so I just wanted to wish you all Happy New Year. And my prayer is that you guys will work together for the good of this township selflessly. I have faith that you will. I have faith in the electorate that voted you to the positions that you hold. I also want to thank you for the Piney Hollow grant for working hard towards that, and Mr. Finley as well for working hard towards that. It came to my attention today that apparently the Environmental Commission voted on an application to build another dollar store, Dollar General, off of Route 40 in Main Road. So I posted that information on Facebook, and the residents were, I would say, probably 90-10 against. Now, I know I had brought this up before at a previous meeting during the previous committee, and I believe it was you, Mr. Mayor, who thought that it was ridiculous that they would bring another dollar store in town.
Still do.
Yeah, still do. Is there any?
But it's illegal use there.
Yeah. So there's nothing, there's no plans to do anything whatsoever to regulate?
Try to you know, we can't cry anymore, but it's a permitted use in that area.
Yeah, and there's no plans at all to change the permitted usage or to formulate zoning ordinances?
I think if you get involved in that, I think you're looking at a lawsuit.
Oh, no, absolutely. I understand that because this application was done before any zoning changes. It's grandfathered in. There's nothing you can do unless you want a lawsuit. But in order, this would be the 8th dollar store within a 3-mile radius.
It was 6 in Facebook.
No, it's 8. So I'm not talking just about Franklin Township. It's 8 with, yes, in Newfield and on the outside, man. Yes. So within a 3-mile radius, there will now be $8 dollar stores, 1 Family Dollar and 7 Dollar Generals. So there's no plans whatsoever to change any zoning order. Not to say you can't obviously pick on one company and say you can't build here because it meets the zoning regulations. No, well, you can, there are, well, from what I understand, Newfield has a zoning ordinance that says that they will not allow any discount stores within their town border. No, Newfield. So, I mean, it's just outside of Newfield.
No, it's right beside Newfield backwards.
It's on the boulevard next to the bank.
I thought it was, maybe I was misled then. But there are different zoning ordinances that can be passed, not to ban dollar stores, because obviously we already have a full share, but to limit their distance from one another in the township so that you don't have the sprawl of dollar stores all over the township.
I mean, again, targeting a particular use regardless of what their name is not something we're going to go down. There are planning tools available.
Something you can or planning to?
No. You can't do that based on the specific nature of the use. There has to be a broader consideration.
We ban adult bookstores in town.
There's a difference, and the attempt is simply proper planning. I understand your position and the relative issue with the flooding of it. I live in a town where there's a pharmacy on every corner, and of course at some point,
and 2 of them are vacant probably now.
Happens.
Yep.
Right. So our attempt is not going to be to target a particular end user, our process is going to involve proper planning to avoid some issues, but not to target a particular industry or use that's permitted. But there are things on that will have to be taken into consideration. But quote, banning dollar stores is not going to be how that is accomplished.
Okay. Well, obviously you're not going to ban dollar stores because, again, there's already 7 in the township. It's just restricting the further growth of dollar stores. And I think even looking at the master plan, it says that we should have a diverse economic mix of businesses in the township, specifically focusing on those businesses that support our rural atmosphere. And, again, this is just my position, my opinion, but having $7 stores within a 3-mile radius is not supporting that goal of keeping us rural and at the same time having a diverse economic mix. But I guess I understand that, you feel the same way, but you feel like your hands are tied. That's okay. I disagree, but I appreciate you looking into the matter, and hopefully something can get done because it needs to. Thank you.
I know I spoke already, but I just want to clarify the Environmental Commission does not vote on projects. They cannot vote on projects. All they do is review the plans and make comments that are related to environmental issues only. Just for the listening public that's going to watch this, there's no necessarily endorsement of any kind of business by the Environmental Commission. It's only about what are the environmental concerns. So thank you.
Leah Vassalli, 560 Delsey Drive. I'm not here today to criticize anyone. I'm just genuinely curious. What's the township's problem with dollar stores? I mean, if you don't want to go to one, you can just drive past it. But it seems to me, and I'm not picking on you, Jake, it's more of a question. I know you're getting pressure to implement more regulations to try to control what type of economic development comes into the township.
Well,
but
I'm not trying to control.
No, I'm saying there's pressure on you to do that. But I remind you that you all ran as Republicans, and one key Republican value is less government regulation, not more. If someone wants to live in Cherry Hill, go move to Cherry Hill. If someone wants to live in, Mullica Hill, go move to Mullica Hill. But let's not kid ourselves. Franklin Township is not Cherry Hill or Mullica Hill, and the dollar stores, serve residents of Franklin Township. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say there's one very conveniently located to me, and I use it far more frequently than I should just because it's so convenient. But I mean, we don't say let's limit our Wawas or let's limit whatever else. If the dollar store is economically unfeasible, if there aren't enough people to support that many dollar stores, they will close it up and someone else will buy it and move in, just like happens with every other industry cycle. But I would encourage you not to find things to regulate. I mean, the township is over-regulated already.
I think with the master plan and all being, it's something that they could potentially look at.
Yeah, well, I would still just encourage
dollar stores. I look. It's a double-edged sword because right now that property's farmland assessed. So the minute they put a dollar store on there, that changes the tax.
Right, and you'll get the rollback taxes too. But all I'm encouraging you is, as you look into the master plan, please keep in mind that you're Republicans, and hopefully you believe that less government is the best government, and stick to that despite pressure you may get from individuals who want a particular thing for a particular reason. All right, thank you.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. And as I've been repeatedly accused of disliking dollar stores, that's not quite entirely accurate, but I dislike the way that the properties are kept, and as unfortunately they are poor neighbors as comparison to other businesses. That's where the issue comes in. It's not so much with dollar store per se, but with the way the property is kept. When you have trash blowing in your property constantly, and you have diapers laying in the parking lot that never get cleaned up and things like that, it's a concern. Somebody brought up Wawa. Wawa's, they keep their properties immaculate. Are they a hazard walking across a parking lot? Yes, you do take your life in your own hands at times, but that's your choice. But it's still the fact they keep their property immaculate. They're always tending it, always taking care of it. When you look at them, they're not an eyesore. Dollar stores, unfortunately, when they come in, when they're first built, they're fine, and they degrade rapidly from there. And it's consistent in every town. They have a 2-year bond on them that barely gets enforced, and after that, they just fall apart. And that's where the issue is, and we don't have the individual, I guess the best way of putting it is we keep changing that side to enforce it. To keep it up to our standard and our code just for basic property maintenance. And as a neighbor that deals with that, that's where the problem comes in with the dislike of that location and that type of store. It's not the dollar store per se, it's the way the property is tended and kept. And that's where the biggest issue is. Something I do want to ask about that though, being it's been brought up with the last planning board meeting that the dollar store down on Porchtown Road has the mulch that it should have never had. It was told they weren't supposed to have mulch because of the fire hazard. They put mulch in. So of course that made me start looking at all the other dollar stores. The one on Porchtown and Route 40 right there, right across from the Axon and the new 76 truck stop.
Oh, that's
They've had last year they had 4 fires they reported to on mulch when they were told not to have mulch by the planning board. Mulch was put in and it was signed off on the final plans. The dollar store right near me has mulch put in. It was signed off on the final plans. It's supposed to have stone mulch only, both of them. The one in Franklinville, stone mulch. How does that happen? How does it get signed off when it doesn't meet the basic final plan that's supposed to be there, knowing there's a fire risk? And
We'll have to look at that because I don't know how you can see.
The engineers would want to do that.
I understand that. That's why I'm asking. And this is, some of the things that occur, and this is what gets residents upset, is when it doesn't meet it and nothing gets done about it. But that's why I'm bringing it to your attention to see if something can get done. That would cut down a lot of the trash that sticks in that overgrown area every time. Now, obviously, stone can still get growth in it if it was not tended. But at least it looks a little better than just weeds. Thank you.
Are you motion?
No. Gail Kennedy, I live across the street from where they're going to put a solar thing or whatever, and poor Tim Doyle is going to lose his farm. Oh my gosh. Anyway, what I want to ask is, are we doing the notarizing yet?
No,
Why?
it's not done.
And that's why? Because somebody complained?
The office that hold the license don't want to do it for the public.
And, okay, they don't want to do it? Do they get paid for doing a job?
No, they don't. They get paid, but that's just part of their job working here.
But you took that out? They used to do it, but now we don't do it anymore?
They do it, but they do it for township documents only. They don't, that was just a courtesy service.
Oh.
They don't get paid any more or any less than that certification.
Well, when they do it as a courtesy, are we paying them?
They do it for the township. They don't do it for anybody on the outside.
On the outside of what, the township?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not, they're not doing it. Scotty.
Okay.
A motion to close the public portion. Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports? Mike?
Bob,
Yeah.
congratulations to Officer Krauss. I get to know tonight. Good luck being supervisor. Police work today. Good luck.
John?
Another congratulations to Mr. Krauss on his promotion. Wish him luck there. Thanks for the comment on the communications, potentially blasting out text notifications. We'll look into that on the agenda for our next discussion. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Mark?
Same thing, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Krauss. It was my first time being on committees this month, so I'm just really, really impressed with all of the opportunities that are going to throw over I didn't exist before, so good morning, public, I would definitely check it out.
Thank you. Again, congratulations to Officer Krauss. I want to thank Public Works, Brian. Thankfully, I was in Florida when all this went on. But, when I came back, they had everything cleaned up very good, so thank you. Thank them.
We were in Florida for all 3 events. We had a wind event, an ice event, and the snow event.
Well, I was here for that. I got plenty of phone calls, but I'm out of that business.
I want to take the opportunity to thank my crew. They worked extremely hard over the last 2 weeks between all 3 events. Great job.
With that, I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.